American literature and philosophy. Which American essayist and poet was a close friend of Henry David Thoreau, hosting him at his home and providing the land at Walden Pond where Thoreau wrote his famous book? Ralph Waldo Emerson. Which 1868 book on the science of vinegar production was a groundbreaking work by what famous French microbiologist? Louis Pasteur. Which author of Moby Dick subtitled his 1847 Tahitian adventure novel Omu as A Narrative of Adventures in the South Seas? Herman Melville. Which French Enlightenment writer penned a bitter eulogy for his rival, the royal censor Sieur de Crébillon, after years of literary harassment? Voltaire. Classic and contemporary fiction. Which 1812 adventure novel features a shipwrecked family so happy and productive on their remote island that they decline to be rescued? The Swiss Family Robinson. Michael Chabon won the 2001 Pulitzer Prize for fiction for a novel detailing the comic book adventures of which fictional duo? Cavalier and Clay. Which 1969 disaster novel by Paul Gallico follows the dramatic survival story of passengers aboard a capsized cruise ship? The Poseidon Adventure. What classic 18th century German literary character is famous for telling impossible and highly exaggerated tall tales? Baron Munchausen. What John Steinbeck novella features ranch hand characters named Curly, Candy, Carlson, and Crooks? Of Mice and Men. Television and film masterpieces. Which American playwright based his hit Broadway play, The Odd Couple, on the real-life experiences of his divorced brother, Danny? Neil Simon. Which character on the 1970s sitcom, All in the Family, was frequently called a meathead by his opinionated father-in-law, Archie Bunker? Michael Stivic. What 1986 coming-of-age drama film concludes with a poignant written line about never having friends later in life like the ones from age 12? Stand By Me. Which 1984 mockumentary film popularized the phrase, turn it up to 11, to describe pushing something to its absolute limit? This is Spinal Tap. Which classic movie line from When Harry Met Sally was famously delivered by director Rob Reiner's real-life mother? I'll have what she's having. What memorable word from the film, The Princess Bride, does the character Vizzini repeatedly use, prompting Inigo Montoya to say it does not mean what Vizzini thinks it means? Inconceivable. Famous TV ensembles. Donna Moss, Margaret Hooper, and Josh Lyman are central characters on which acclaimed political drama series? The West Wing. Dr. Miranda Bailey, Dr. Joe Wilson, and Dr. Amelia Shepard are prominent medical professionals on which long-running drama? Grey's Anatomy. Jamie Tart, Keely Jones, and Coach Beard are key characters on what sports comedy series? Ted Lasso. Lady Edith, Mrs. Patmore, and Isabel Crawley are central characters in what British historical drama? Downton Abbey. Uncle Junior, Johnny Sack, and Richie Aprile are prominent mob characters on which premium cable crime drama? The Sopranos. Housing and real estate. What specific architectural layout describes an apartment where rooms flow directly into one another without a central hallway? Railroad apartment. What slang word blends the name of a fast food chain with a residential building type to describe a massive, poorly designed luxury home? McMansion. What legal term, derived from the Latin word for home, describes a person's primary, permanent legal residence? Domicile. What short, four-letter vocabulary word means a temporary place to sleep and becomes a cheap hotel when paired with the word house? Bunk. World religions. What 5 core ethical principles form the moral foundation of Buddhism? The 5 precepts. What core spiritual practice must adherents of the Baha'i faith perform for 19 days every year, which is 1 letter shorter than their communal feast? Fast. What Arabic term refers to the collected records of the words, actions, and traditions of the Prophet Muhammad in Islam? Hadith. Which ancient Indian religion takes its name from a Sanskrit word meaning saint or victorious one? Jainism. Which religious movement, aiming to adapt Jewish traditions to the modern world, opened its first temple in Germany in 1810? Reform Judaism. Astronomy and space exploration. What massive planetary feature on Jupiter was documented in a detailed 1831 drawing by an amateur astronomer? Great Red Spot. Which planet in our solar system completes its orbit so quickly that its year lasts only about 88 Earth days? Mercury. Which NASA spacecraft provided humanity's first close-up look at Uranus in 1986, determining its interior rotation to be just over 17 hours? Voyager 2. Which planetary coordinates on Mars host human-made rovers and landers experiencing average surface temperatures between -120 and -30 degrees? 20 degrees north latitude. What unique astronomical symbol is barred from use in formal papers submitted to the monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society? Earth symbol, Eneri circled plus operator. World geography and regions. Which southern island province marks the southernmost territory of Argentina? Tierra del Fuego. What is the English name for the massive, nearly 1 million square mile desert peninsula located in Southwest Asia? Arabian Peninsula. Which historic city-state was the focus of intense admiration, or laconophilia, by many Athenians despite a long-running war in the 400s BC? Sparta. What specific administrative term is used to describe Russia's 46 federal provinces, deriving from an Old Slavonic word? Oblast. Which Asian nation spans 5 geographical time zones from east to west but legally observes only one standard national time? China. Despite ceding roughly 350,000 square miles of territory in 1947, which Asian nation remained the world's 7th largest country by land area? India. Canadian culture and slang. What everyday appliance is universally referred to as a garburator in Canadian kitchens? Garbage disposal. What common Canadian slang term describes the $2 coin? Toonie. When Canadian media outlets use the acronym GTA, what major metropolitan region are they referring to? Greater Toronto Area. What regional French term is used in Quebec to describe a standard neighborhood convenience store? Dépanneur. Business, brands, and technology. Which multi-billion-dollar hospitality platform was founded in 2007 by 2 roommates who rented out air mattresses in San Francisco? Airbnb. Which American audio equipment company is globally recognized for its high-quality sound systems and maintains its corporate headquarters in Framingham, Massachusetts? Bose. What popular name is given to the distinctively green, heavy-duty ceramic charcoal barbecues made by BGE? Big Green Egg. Which American manufacturing brand launched a highly popular line of portable handheld vacuum cleaners in 1984? Dustbuster. Which global audio streaming service releases a personalized, year-end retrospective feature for its users called Wrapped? Spotify. Language and National Spelling Bee champions. What Greek-derived noun means pathologically excessive or rapid speech, and served as the winning word of the 1999 National Spelling Bee? Logorrhea. What word, referencing Aristotle's ancient school or a modern lecture hall, won the National Spelling Bee for future Teen Jeopardy? Champion Amanda Goad. Lyceum. What real estate term, denoting an apartment unit that an individual owns rather than rents, won the National Spelling Bee in 1956? Condominium. What common culinary term for the white portion of an egg was the winning word of the National Spelling Bee in 1930? Albumin. What painful dental condition, commonly known as a toothache, served as the winning word of the National Spelling Bee in 1986? Odontalgia. Historical figures and trivia. Which major historical figure famously held the hat of his former political rival, Abraham Lincoln, during Lincoln's first inaugural speech in 1861? Stephen A. Douglas. Which famous American ornithologist engaged in a fierce scientific feud with British naturalist Charles Waterton over how vultures locate food? John James Audubon. What severe military punishment, traditionally involving being confined to quarters, is commonly abbreviated as CTQ? Confinement to quarters. Which 2 legendary Appalachian families officially signed a peace treaty in 2003 to end a violent historical feud that allegedly began over a stolen hog? Hatfields and McCoys. What famous English boarding school is the namesake of a stiff, wide collar that folds down over a jacket? Eton College. Everyday idioms and sayings. What original wording did William Shakespeare use in Hamlet to describe a custom or lifestyle that someone is accustomed to from birth? To the manner born. What iconic 3-word slogan did the Dawn dish soap brand use to market its product as a highly effective grease remover? Tough on grease. Sports and games. In ice hockey, what common slang term describes the physical space between a goaltender's leg pads? 5-hole.